Have you ever found yourself spiraling in a loop of thoughts, one leading to another, until you end up feeling overwhelmed, stuck, and unable to move forward? In today's video, we're going to be discussing just that, why we do it and how we can go about breaking free. Let's get into it. So overthinking tends to happen when we are replaying situations in our minds. And as always with all things, energy attracts energy. So if you're having a negative thought about something, or you're even just really contemplating it strongly, then you're going to have more thoughts that are like itself. They get attracted to each other. And so you end up then getting into this negative thought spiral, in a vortex of thoughts. Dr. Susan Noland Hoeksama, I hope I pronounced her name right, calls this rumination. Now, the problem is when we start to ruminate on a particular situation. So for example, let's say you had a conversation last week, or you had a conversation a couple of days ago, or even earlier on today. And the conversation has you replaying it over and over in your mind. I wonder if I said the right thing. Did I do the right thing? Did I say it in the right way? How did the other person take it? Why did they say it to me like that? I wonder what they meant by that. Then we can actually end up really getting down deep into this negative spiral of wondering, of imagining. And then what that does is it takes us out of the present moment. Eckhart Tolle always says that these things lead us into the past or into an imagined future. And the problem with that is that now we're no longer in the present. So why do we do it? Why do we put ourselves through it? What is it that leads us to overthinking? One of the things that happens why we end up overthinking is because we as human beings are meaning-making machines. We want to understand everything that's going on around us. This is because we want certainty. If we're feeling uncertain about situations around us, our brains are trying to solve that uncertainty and bring us certainty. Our brains are coming up with different ideas, different things that we haven't thought about in order to lead us to a solution. So that's one of the reasons why we end up overthinking situations. Another reason is because it can just be a fear response linked to, again, the uncertainty and the need for control. Things that human beings so desperately want. We so desperately want to feel in control and be certain of what's happening around us. So what tends to happen is if we're kind of pushed into a fear response, it means that the fight, flight, freeze activates inside of us. Our amygdalas fire off, which is your fear center, and ends up trying to solve a situation. But the problem is that if you're in your fight, flight, freeze, it means that your cortisol levels are pretty high. And then that means that it's actually dampening your prefrontal cortex's ability to make sense of what it's actually seeing. Therefore, you're not actually going to be able to find out anyway. So these are some of the reasons why we end up overthinking situations. We analyze them over and over again because we're trying to find out what's going on. We want to feel certain. We want to feel like we're in control. We want to feel safe. Why is it so dangerous when we really think about it like this for us to really end up in this rumination process? It's super dangerous because it's actually making us feel stressed. And us having a high stress level, us feeling stressed out over a prolonged period of time is not good for the body. It has very negative effects on your body. Long term, it's going to lead to a slew of health problems, digestive issues, etc. Stress for the short term, not a bad thing at all, is actually quite good for you. But long term, no, it's not so good for you. So overthinking disconnects us from the present moment. And the power that we actually have is right now, in this present moment. Not in last week, yesterday, or even tomorrow. It's in the here and now. And again, one of the negative side effects of overthinking is that it actually affects your mental health. If it's something that you end up unconsciously practicing all the time, then it's going to affect you in the long run. So it is something that we definitely have to address and try to stop it as much as we can. Understanding why we're doing it, again, like I explained already, emotional dysregulation, you needing a sense of safety and security, feeling uncertain in situations, needing to feel like you're in control. We can understand why these things are happening, but then we have to move ourselves on to the next step, which is going to be, what can we do about it? So we have to actually take part in grounding exercises when we find ourselves in a place of rumination and overthinking. We actually have to be able to catch ourselves when it's happening and put something in place that we can do instead. So step one of this is actually going to be for you to pause and breathe, just to take a moment. Take 3 deep breaths. And again. And again. Step 2, label the thought. So just actually say out loud what it is that you're thinking about. I am thinking about the conversation I had earlier on today, for example. I am wondering why this person said this to me. Just label that thought so that you can actually get it from inside of your mind to outside. And then what you're going to do, step 3, is ground yourself. And for this particular example exercise that I'm giving you, it's going to be the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. You're going to label 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. By doing this, it kind of helps you to just stay in the present moment. Kind of just helps you to just ground yourself and get back to the now. Brings you right back into the present moment. So when you actually really step through this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, you're bringing yourself back into the now and out of that kind of thinking spiral that you were just in. The next thing you're going to do is just question it. Is it really helpful? Me analyzing this situation right now, is it helping me? And if the answer is no, which most of the time it's going to be no if you're ruminating, then you can say to yourself, okay, we just need to do something else. And then that's what leads you on to step 5, which is going to be engaging in the present moment. Get yourself up, do something around your house if you have to, go for a walk, bring yourself back into the present by doing something physical. You might want to hit the gym, you might want to just wash your dishes, do a little bit of light dusting. And while you're doing these things, if you need to, just hum while you're doing it. You'll be surprised of how powerful humming can actually be. It really soothes you, brings you back into regulation. And this is what we actually need to do when we're stepping out of that awful vortex of rumination. Now, my loves, this is all about us leaning into healing ourselves and governing us, being our own ambassadors, making sure that we can be in the best possible emotional, mental, spiritual, physical place that we can be. And this means that we have to be really conscious of ourselves. We have to make the unconscious conscious. So we have to really be aware of ourselves when we're going through these kind of negative loops and negative spirals. If at any time we want to manifest different conditions in our lives, it means that we have to do things differently than what we've done them before. So for those of you that have ever gone through overthinking, or that sometimes may dip in and out because it might not be something that happens to you all the time, consider the things that I've said, come back to the video, watch it again, and tell me, what is it that you guys tend to overthink about? Is there one thing that you always go back to? Maybe we can strip it back together. My name is Sabrina Naayantara. I am a holistic mindset coach. Do all of the beautiful things, my loves. Like, share, subscribe, and all of that wonderful stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.